the reason I stopped the video and start a new video because I want to turn on the light and also just to give myself a break to get ready to talk about the step-by-step PTTS timeline. Okay, so basically it's the reason that I'm having this discouragement about it is because, like I was saying earlier, about having really get the word through to the world and things like that. So in a way, it makes, like, especially what if it is very important, and people would kind of like, in a way, the world in general, people in general would argue, why didn't I get the word through to the world first to say something that is very important? Kind of like, in a way, why say something that is very important and I still haven't get my word through to the world yet? It kind of, like, in a way, really ruined the whole purpose and everything. So kind of like, in a way, that's the discouragement about these videos is I make, it's kind of, so I felt, there's this discouragement because of that. And okay, so alright, so I think I paused it for a few minutes before I kind of like, in a way, start again. So during that pause of the stopping that video, I stopped it for a few minutes to kind of just get myself ready for this, talking about this step-by-step PTTS timeline. Okay, so alright, so it is January 2012. I was saying, this is January 2012. It's the most conflict time in my life. Bad luck and adversity constantly happening to me daily. Okay, I'm just gonna start listening, and it's like I'll argue, how did I get elected as club president of the Mesa Multimedia Club? Having all these bad luck and adversity constantly happening to me. So kind of like, in a way, really, kind of in a way, doesn't really make much sense. How come like a person have to be on top of the management and able to get elected as club president and things like that. So that's why, it's really hard for me to list out, all this adversity and bad luck constantly happening to me and things like that. Okay, so pretty much I okay, first the trading card game tournament. It was I don't know, like it's kind of like, in a way, on 1999. So like that argument that I was determined to give everything I got to the trading card game, TCG, and So on 2000, so months before January 2012, like the TCG, like I'm standing in the TCG tournament. This is okay. I'm just gonna pause for a second. My mother's talking about me to turn off the light again, so I'm just gonna continue with the light being turned off. Alright, so pretty much I don't know, like really don't know what to say. Kinda like in a way. Remember there was a store owner who kinda like, and basically there's like two different stores that I went to during this period of time, like Artifacts at Miramar. So the Artifacts, it's called Artifact. It's a TCG store at Miramar, and another one is Game Empire at Claremont Mesa Drive. So it's around there, and so basically these. But I went to the Artifact more. Like that's the one that I focus on. But then it got shut down. So Artifact, for some reason, like I'm saying, it was really like, I remember it was really lively again. Like I remember, like the store owner was saying, like a lot of the player was just cheering for you. Like they think they have never seen anyone who have so much so like so much so like the whole TCG spirits in their competition before and things like that, like this. So kind of like it was just like the whole store, like a lot of players was cheering for you and everything, and it's like again, I think it's just been like a while already. That right now is 2000. So this is around 2000. Like I'm saying, like before January, it's close to January 2012. So this, like, I'm just basically events that lead to that. So kind of like in a way, this is an artifact. So it's about, so it's around 2000. This artifact closed down at 2011. Around the 2011, pretty much like either early 2011 or late 2010. So it's around there, and so it's around there. Pretty much it's around Artifact's about to close down, and the store owner, I don't know, like if she is like the manager or one of the partnership store owner, things like that. I remember she was telling me that a lot of the play in the store was cheering for you, like, and it's nothing like Artifact haven't had this kind of TCG spirit before and things like that, and she was like wondering, what deck did I use and things like that, and I remember telling her it's just like I used the time warp like 6 times. That's why it's all this cheering and everything. In one match, I used the time warp 6 times. Well, Time was considered as a pretty expensive card to use because it required a lot of energy, but it allowed you to have an extra turn. So kind of like in a way, I was able to use it 6 times. That means I got 6 extra turn and things like that. So it's like kind of like in a way. So well, she's a store owner and she kind of understands a lot on the magic concept. So immediately she able to pick that up and things like that. Like you're saying, she had some experience. So it's like yeah, it's like no wonder it's like all this cheering and everything. So it's like then it's like a month later, Artifact got shut down and everything. And then there's this yellow caution tape is wrapped around it also. It's like I just don't get it. It was just like months ago there was all this cheering and artifacts and everything and it's like but like I was saying, to me I felt that it's nothing new, I'm the regional TCG championship title holder. This cheering in the store is not new or anything to me, it's like I'm the regional TCG championship title. It's been so long, it's just like the 8 years from 1999 to 2006, I'm the regional TCG championship title holder. So now it's 2011. So it's been about 5 years later. I suppose, maybe in that 5 year, people have, I don't know, like, I really don't know if my surrounding know about that title or not. Like, I just don't know. So, like, again, but yet, to me, like, I felt like that shouldn't really be anything new to me. It's like, anyway, TZ turned, like, the artifacts got shut down, and so I went to Game Empire, and we was saying, and at the same time, there's all these adversity, battle constantly happening to me, and daily, I felt like, God, it's just like, in a way, TCG is my way to just get out of not able to face my reality, able to face what's going on in my life. So for me, I felt like that's the argument, trading card game is like just my way, to just escape out of my life and not able to face my life, what's going on in my life and things like that. So I felt that's the argument, it's just like a really so I felt like, if this continue on, it's gonna lead to some like, it's gonna create more problems as to my life, even though like that point, adversities and battle constantly happening to me daily and things like that. So pretty much, So it's kind of, you know, so it just came to decide that stop, stop with the, I don't know, like, I don't know how far I could have went, just, but at the same time, having this argument constantly bothering me, I felt like I just couldn't really get far, like how I was back then, having the regional TCG championship title and things like that. Yeah, keep battling with this argument. So I kind of decided to just come to a stop. It's like, so I stopped going to Game Empire, and remember it was a really tough decision. This is supposed to give everything I got to TCG. It's like, okay, so back to what I was saying about the time rule 6 times. Yeah, it's like, no wonder, kind of like in a way I was expecting it after the 3 time, like the whole store is already cheering really loud, probably by 4 to 5 times maybe they just go like even louder and everything. So pretty much it's how the why it was so loud that day, because by the time 6 time I think it's just pretty much like a maximum of cheering and everything, it's like, I think these sort of expensive to use card like require a lot of energy to use card, or like I don't know, like really like just depend, but it's just sort of like the custom way to play, and things like that. These more high expensive card usually is you really use not, maybe 1 or 2 times per turn and per match and things like that. That's pretty much like the more custom way, and just so by the time you use it 3 times, it's like considered as really a lot of like cheering and everything already, and so pretty much, like, so that's like I remember saying that to her, and then she kind of like saying, yeah, now it makes sense why it was all that cheering that day and it's so loud and everything. So it's like, and just coincidentally, that Time Warp card, the price went up a little bit. But I don't know, like it really, like just so coincident that so happened also. Like the Time Warp card got increased in value by a little bit, even though just a little bit. But like, it's just so coincident. It's just after. Anyway, like I'm saying, so I decided to come to a stop on the TCG after just felt like that argument's been bothering me, and especially got elected as club president of the Mesa Multimedia Club, and by that point, like I observed it about 3 years already, and served it 3 years as club president, and having to and can't face that argument, I can't face reality. I can't face the problems in my life. It just make me look really embarrassing and everything. You know, it's like got elected as club president, and it's like. So, like I'm saying, even though it's a really tough decision, you know, like because back in 1999, I decided that I had made that determination, you know, to give everything I got to TCG, to trading card game. You know, TCG stand for trading card game. So I decided to give everything to TCG. So it's like, so like again, I think maybe because of that, is I don't know, like I was saying, you know, what if someone just so happened, just wanted to pick out that event? It's like, you know, where's the determination at? You know, he's supposed to give everything to TCG, and why he stopped going to Game Empire? You know, felt like there's something going on in his life and things like that. Maybe someone just happened to choose that one event. You know, it's like and start creating adversity and bad lucks to me constantly by just choosing that one event. So anyway, months later, then like just weeks later. Well, I mean, kind of like in a way, that was okay, you know, just um, I don't know, like I just wanted to just giving myself, you know, to not be so discouraged. You know, it's like I still able to hang on. You know, you know, like the the Mesa College bookstore. You know, they have that contract agreement with me. You know, kind of like in a way, like at the beginning of each semester, I get to work like 3 weeks, about like around 2 weeks of time, basically at the sort of like there's that contract agreement with the Mesa College bookstore. You know, like 2 weeks in each semester at the beginning semester, and also like you know and at the time I still have a part-time job at Genesee Marshall, the Balboa slash Genesee, so kind of like in a way Balboa. Well, I mean it's called Balboa Marshall, but sometimes I just call it Genesee also because it's very close to Genesee Avenue, and so it's like it's on Balboa Avenue, and so sometimes I just call it Genesee because that's the road that I drove on to get to that. So like a lot of times it's called Genesee Marshall store. So like I have a part time job there and things like that. It's just so coincident. After I stopped going to Game Empire, make that decision to kind of like you know face the problems in my life, you know stop, you know felt like you know just deal with that argument basically. You know that arguments keep saying that you know I am not I'm avoiding to face the problems in my life by escaping to trading card games. So it felt like, deal with that argument. I got elected as club president. I should able to deal with that argument. It's like, anyway, so weeks later, La Jolla Maestro stopped giving me hours. Like, totally, like, there's no hour at all. Like, I look at my name, and there's no shift at all. Like, I don't. And, like, I remember make, like, 2 appointments to talk with the manager. Her name is Brenda. So it's like, remember make appointment to talk with Brenda, and it's like, and she's just like, I don't know, like it felt like she's just being unreasonable toward me and things like that. And so I make another appointment to talk with her. It's kind of like in a way, to stress that the agreement that me and another manager, her name is Catherine, like it was agreed that I would able to have some hour and things like that. And the number was, again, she's just being very like just unreasonable, like in her talk toward me and things like that. It's like she didn't really even hear what I have to say in a way. I felt like she's so like just already decided, that I cannot have any hour to work, and that's it. And no matter what kind of reasoning or like supports I have and things like that, it's just like that's it. I'm not gonna get any hour to work. It's like, I'm showing you all these support and reason, and it's like, so in a way, I felt like, she's like corrupted in a way. It's like, it's not like how you supposed to be like a manager and things like that. It's like, pretty much. So like I said, and then there was this. And then I don't know, like she did it on purpose or not. And then in her phone call, like momentarily after, like right after the meeting with me, like she made a phone call, and then with another manager at Marshall, and then like in the phone call, like she put on speakerphone, and that manager was kind of like in a way, just like that's the that's Marshall, that's Marshall motto. It's like the Marshall doesn't fire the employee. The employees self-fire themselves. It's like, so in a way, she just didn't, because